Hello everyone, my name is Abhijit and I'm part of the technical product marketing for VCF division within Broadcom. So today I'm going to give a high level overview of what's coming in VCF 9.1 release. So 9.1 is a huge release for VCF operations. It's a major release and there's a lot of things going on in the product. So the focus continues on how to become that one single interface, one tool that is VCF operations that helps the customer do their day-to-day activities for both VCF and vSphere deployments within single console. So in that, we have got a brand new console experience. With VCF operations, there are four pillars of functionality that we are delivering. And these four pillars, build, manage, operate, and protect, are so important to this release to help customers guide them to the features and functions they need to be able to manage their VCF environments. So let me quickly give an overview of each of these different pillars. Under the build, we have increased our scale and performance greatly with this 9.1 release. We have made installing VCF a lot simpler, and with the new VCF management service platform, which you will hear a lot, is giving us the ability to now drive availability, resilience, and scale and flexibility for our customers. From a fleet management standpoint, within the manage pillar, we have made improvements to the identity and access management. We have provided out-of-the-box VCF level roles, fleet level policy management to standardize on configurations and push DNS, NTP changes or password settings across VCF components to be compliant. We have improved password management. We have added support for CyberArk Vault integration, so customers can use external components and programs to be able to manage their passwords. We have added bulk certificates, and now we can do certificates for almost all of the different VCF components. Also, we have improved on the costing as well, where we are showing showback and chargeback cost for VKS clusters. From an operation standpoint, it is really about monitoring, troubleshooting, and fixing problems when they occur. So one of the major feature is being the real-time observability. So the ability to get 20-second metrics for the VCF components, including your NSX network edges and the 2-second metrics for ESX host. Also, log management, where we have been trying to do for the last couple of releases, is to get logs integrated into VCF operations directly. So that has now happened. So there is no separate log inside UI, and everything is inside of the ops UI. So we have just eliminated one full user interface for our customers. Health and diagnostics has been extended to ESX and NSX networks, thus improving visibility into all of the VCF components. And we also enabled support for Prometheus within Management Pack Builder to extend visibility and view data within VCF operations. And then finally, on the security standpoint, we have added a new compliance tool called Security Posture Management. We have also provided guidance and visibility into confidential computing. So those two pieces do require the ACC license, but we have also improved audit records and audit trails, which is a very powerful tool being able to do auditing across all of the different components of VCF and perform security forensics. So now let's do a deep dive into every functional pillar. In earlier releases of VCF, the VCF operations functionality were organized in a manner that is not obviously intuitive for a customer. The capabilities were distributed across navigations, and customers would not find the navigation as the most natural and intuitive way of organizing functionalities. So in 9.1, we have revamped the VCF operations console to provide customers a new experience. And so the immediate change we'll notice is the top navigation aligning with the functional pillars of VCF, that is operate, manage, protect, and build. We have also enhanced dashboarding capabilities with performance and scale improvements. We have added a new PromQL widget to help users troubleshoot issues with the 20-second real-time metric. So customers can now build observability dashboards like how they are able to build query based on Grafana or any other tools. There is also new support for widget sections, visual enhancements in widgets, support for widget descriptions, and metric sorting capabilities for trend view within the widgets. So let's look at the build pillar. In 9.1, the VCF installer UI has been redesigned to better show the different stages of the VCF deployment. It has been optimized so fewer user inputs are required to deploy VCF. Also, the installer now includes a high-level planning and preparation guidelines to quickly identify the capacity requirements for deploying VCF based on the selected topology. Also, adds support to include IPv6, IPv4, dual stack configurations, deploying VCF operations and VCF automation on virtual networks, that is NSX segments, as well as deploying in environments that are configured with LACP. The new VCF installer uses auto-generated passwords by default, fostering improved security. It continues to support both new deployments, that's the greenfield, as well as converging or importing existing vSphere environments as part of the brownfield deployments. In 9.1, lifecycle management has been redesigned and now is part of the new VCF services platform. So as a component of the VCF services platform, the LCM benefits includes improved scale, improved availability, and improved performance. The fleet update service provides a consistent LCM process across entire VCM fleet. So in 9.1, the fleet update service provides 4x improvements on the number of parallel cluster upgrade operations, helping to reduce upgrade times, and also extends the LCM capabilities to standalone host and single node vSphere clusters. In 9.1, the fleet update service also provides several improvements to reduce downtime when upgrading and patching both vCenter and NSX core components. The fleet depot service provides a single depot for downloading and managing software binaries and patches for the VCF fleet. The fleet depot service provides support for both connected and disconnected environments. So with the fleet depot service, managing binaries in VCF is easy as there is no need to manage separate URLs or to expose tokens. Simply register with the business service console to obtain and activate code to activate the depot service. With HCX 9.1, we are fundamentally changing how data moves. First, we have completely changed the migration workflow UI, upgraded the interconnect and network extension appliances stacks to handle more traffic, meaning you can now stretch more networks through a single tunnel than ever before. Also, bigger shifts are how we handle the WAN optimization. So all powerful deduplication and compression tools now part of the interconnect appliance. This means you get all the performance benefits on a high latency links, but with one less appliance to deploy and manage in your service mesh. And finally, we are delivering native intra vCenter migration capability. So for the first time, you can move workloads within the same vCenter using just one HCX manager. This makes things like storage refreshes or cluster consolidations incredibly simple because you never have to leave your existing inventory. And it's all about making your VCF private cloud more fluid and easier to manage and show the power of HCX. That's a true workload mobility platform. So now let's jump into the managed pillar. So the 9.1 release includes enhanced workflows which streamlines the configuration of single sign-on and identity and access management for VCF components within or across VCF instances. So as part of this single workflow, admins can now manage VCF level roles to SSO users groups for secure and compliant management of VCF components. SSO and IAM can be configured end-to-end for VCF instance components and also VCF management components like VCF operations, VCF automation, ops for logs, networks, HCX, and orchestrate. So there are VCF predefined roles as well as custom roles that can be created to assign to users and groups from VCF operations console or using the API client. So from 9.1 onwards, the identity broker is now installed at the time VCF is deployed or upgraded and no longer needs to be separately downloaded as a prerequisite for configuring single sign-on. It can be configured in embedded mode for non-production environments or appliance mode at instance level for production deployments to ensure continuous SSO access during single node failure. Also, a scripted workflow is available to migrate users and groups from VIDM to identity brokers for customers who have been upgraded to VCF 5.8 version. Implementing highly secure and compliant password management is a high priority for cloud administrators. So VCF 9.1 allows organizations to configure unified password policies across VCF components. So password policies defines your password length, complexity requirements, account lockout settings, expiry and the change intervals, and the reuse settings. So once created, these policies can then be assigned at the VCF fleet level or to VCF operations components. A password compliance check can be run at any time to notify the operator of password policy compliance or non-compliance. So this allows the operator to view the current and desired definitions and perform a remediate function. The remediate function will immediately apply the updated policy settings for account lockout, expiry settings, and reuse settings. So the policy setting for password length and character class will apply at the next time a password is changed. So VCF 9.1 introduces APIs as well for enterprise password vault integration. CyberArk is an enterprise password vault which is currently supported within VCF 9.1. We have also introduced or enhanced our password security and no longer stores the break glass account passwords, eliminating the need for password remediation. So 9.1 also introduces a new certificate management capability to help further secure communications between the VCF components. So this enhancement simplify certificate management at scale and provides more granular configuration. So you configure a certificate authority across an entire VCF fleet. So VCF instance and management components across multiple VCF instances can be configured to use a Microsoft CA or OpenSSL. This includes the ability to manage certificates for VCF 5.2 components such as vCenter, NSX, ESX, which is useful in mixed mode deployments. So the VCF Operations console also provides support for managing certificates for standalone vCenter in ESX host for 8.0 update 3. So certificates for VCF Operations workload mobility like HCX and RV load balancers can also be managed when they are deployed or upgraded for VCF version 9.1. So the VCF Operations UI now allows operators to perform bulk certificate operations. Certificate signing requests, certificate renewals, and certificate import operations can all be performed in bulk, reducing time and further streamlining certificate management operations. The VCF Operations API can also be used for third-party integration and automation of certificate management for all VCF components. VCF 9.1 also includes additional capabilities for fleet-level configuration management. Desired state templates, formerly known as configuration templates, can now be configured at a vCenter or a cluster level, which is new in this release. So this allows administrators the option to configure policies at a more granular cluster level where required, and eliminates the need for configuring and monitoring changes manually down to a host level. The cluster level templates leverage its configuration from vSphere configuration profiles, that's a VCP. So the configuration drifts or changes from the monitored configuration can be viewed at the VCF instance, vCenter, or cluster level through VCF Operations. So these templates can also be integrated with GitHub or GitLab repositories. So VCF Operations provides users with the option to download a JSON remediation file or CSV to assign in identifying the host configuration changes at cluster level. And administrators can also download a drift status report in PDF or Excel to view the vCenter and cluster level configuration changes. Now let's talk about VMware Advanced Memory Tiering, a feature that is gaining momentum as organizations address rising memory cost. As our virtual workloads grow, the traditional method of simply adding more DRAMs has become too expensive and inefficient to sustain. To solve this, we are introducing memory tiering, a fundamental shift that moves away from treating memory as a single pool and instead intelligently manages data across different performance tiers to balance speed and cost. VCF Operations helps you quickly see the benefits of memory tiering by simulating the results of enabling it in your clusters. The simulation comes complete with updated workload information and projected savings in actual dollars, showing the difference of adding a new NVMe device versus adding new DRAM. It also shows you how many more workloads can now be added to the cluster, giving you greater VM consolidation ratio. For our customers, the result is twofold. You can run significantly more virtual machines on your existing infrastructure while achieving your capacity goals at a fraction of the cost. So the 9.1 release also brings in more smarter way to doing capacity management and provides a fundamental shift in how VCF helps you balance performance with cost efficiency. The addition of storage stress metrics to workload optimization. So instead of reacting to storage performance issues, which often means emergency hardware purchases, you can now proactively rebalance workloads. This prevents both the hard cost of rust procurement and the soft cost of application downtimes. And then the tag-based VM exclusion feature, which gives you better control. You can exempt databases or compliance-sensitive VMs from optimization recommendations while still achieving cost savings across your development and test environments. And on the cost visibility side, we now support showback cost capabilities for container workloads. So with VMware Kubernetes Service workloads now being tracked, you can finally attribute container resource consumptions to the right business units or projects. So this transparency drives accountability and helps justify infrastructure investments. So 9.1 also brings in improved transparency and awareness for all apps or tenants with tighter integration of VCF operation and VCF automation. With VCF automation in place, we have a supervisor-based solution for service providers to provide infrastructure to a business tenants. With this, a need arises where providers would want to meter and price their tenants for the infrastructure services consumed by them. The tenants on the other end would also need to see the cost incurred for the infrastructure service they are consuming. Moreover, tenants users would need to know the estimated price of the infrastructure service they would want to consume with alerts notifications related to utilization. So in VCF 9.1, we have enhanced this experience by introducing a new in-product based notifications for VCF automation tenants alongside email. So users can view notifications that have been triggered by clicking a bell icon on the header, which lists all past notifications. There is option to filter different types of notifications like alerts, bills, deployments, leases, and reports. So similarly, tenants can now see upfront cost information while deploying virtual machines and VKS within VCF automation. So this includes compute cost, storage cost, and additional cost. Upfront cost is displayed during catalog deployment and infrastructure service deployment, thus providing clear visibility into resource pricing before deployment. So this upfront pricing for VCF automation removes financial uncertainty. When you accurately forecast automation cost, you can confidently expand self-service capabilities without worrying about runaway expenses. So VCF 9.1 simplifies the process to license a VCF deployment for environments which are connected to the VCF Business Service Console. All VCF components are automatically licensed upon licensing the vCenter server. So this helps to accelerate deployment time and saves having to manually license each component. Licenses for VCF infrastructure and management components are now offloaded and stored in a separate license server VM instead of in VCF operations. So the license server is automatically installed for new, upgraded, or imported VCF 9.x deployments and is fully lifecycle managed by VCF operations. So this allows licensing data to be protected on a secure separate appliance without impacting VCF operations. License usage and refresh can also be automated via the APIs. So next on to the operate pillar. VCF 9.1 has several improvements that make it easier to identify and troubleshoot issues. So this includes real-time metrics collection, ability to create custom troubleshooting dashboards, and the ability to capture and save notes in the troubleshooting workbench. In 9.1, the real-time metrics collection is applicable to NSX Edge, the ESX host nodes, VMs, data center cluster, and vSAN. So these real-time metrics are specific metrics which will be used for troubleshooting and are collected every 20 seconds with an optional ability to configure as low as 2-second metrics collection for ESX host. Real-time metric service is easily deployed as a day 2 operations and accessible from troubleshooting workbench sessions. In addition to real-time metrics collection, the troubleshooting workbench now includes a top N tab allowing admins to readily identify the top VMs, hosts, clusters, data center, NSX, and vSAN objects. Workbench also provides a notes section where you can capture and store notes among other teammates. Also introduces the ability to use Prometheus query language to create custom queries of the collected metrics and to save those queries as part of dashboards. So with this, we can now view metrics and log data side by side on the same dashboard. Next, on to logs management. A key focus for this release was completing the convergence of standalone UI capabilities of login side within VCF operations and deprecating the standalone logs UI. So with 9.1, the standalone UI will no longer be required as all capabilities are now integrated within VCF operations. So under configuration tab, we see a dedicated log management section with new widgets added to fine-tune log management. And as part of the convergence capabilities, we see log collection tile, which allows us to configure the log sources, manage agents, agent groups, and set virtual load balancers. Then we see the saved query widget to build your own custom queries and use for log analysis, log processing widget, which got added as part of the convergence capabilities to perform log masking, to mask critical fields or text for security sensitivity, log filtering to filter or remove unwanted logs based on filter criteria, log partitioning for logical segregation of logs based on various criteria such as retention, routing, and filtering. Log forwarding widget that enables forwarding a select set of logs based on filter criteria to a third-party endpoint. And then we have the external storage widget for configuring external storage for legacy import, export large logs, and also for log archiver for compliance and regulatory needs. The field library governance is a new feature that got added in 9.1 for optimization and to improve platform performance. It lets us view all fields which are categorized as indexed and non-indexed. So by default, well-known fields mandatory for the system are marked as indexed and system defined. So users have the option to manually index discovered fields for faster query times. We have also introduced a new feature under log partition where you can import old archived logs stored on external storage like S3 or NFS into VCF operations to make them available for querying, analysis, and comparing logs for troubleshooting scenarios. The next new capability added within log administration is access control, which uses the concept of data sets. So data sets will allow defining restrictions on which specific set of data a user can access. So this involves creating a scope and introducing the log data selection as a restriction. So for example, a scope can be restricted to logs where the application team like NSX, they might only want to see only the NSX logs. The roles also have been enhanced to include log pages and all other aspects within the access control list. And there are also scale and performance improvements along with the dedicated log health dashboard to monitor the logs, service health, availability, and monitor event ingestion and troubleshoot retention issues related to logs service. The log analysis page also has received workflow related changes and fine tuning to make it more usable and easier to consume. As a solution, VCF Operations 9.1 is an AI-ready platform with API to integrate with customers, RAG, and MCP servers. So with 9.1, we are moving towards Open API version 3 format standardization across VCF. And all operational data is now available via APIs. So what does this mean? This means VCF Operations now provides a scalable, flexible, modular architecture and a multi-tenant AI platform that allows customers to deploy their own custom large language models, LLMs, model context protocol, MCP servers, agents, and RAG systems. This platform functions as a marketplace and execution engine with robust isolation and security measures to protect each tenant's asset. So there are also significant improvements to VCF health and diagnostics findings. So our approach is built on these three essential pillars: the diagnostics findings. So we leverage curated best practices and allow for custom rule authoring. So this means you aren't just getting generic alerts, you're also getting actionable intelligence with in-product remediation recommendations. So VCF Health, this is about real-time full stack visibility. So it's not just is the server on, but is the entire stack performing as it should. And then we have the log assist, where we have enhanced how we handle bundles, switching from light to full bundles for more comprehensive analysis. The health and diagnostics capabilities is further extended to ASX host and NSX network layer, reporting overall health issues with enhanced vCenter connectivity and service health. So 9.1 also includes new health monitoring dashboards for several critical infrastructure services like the VCF management service, the log management, real-time metrics. So these dashboards provide instant visibility into infrastructure and application performance. Also provides unified health insights, enabling better capacity planning, budget forecasting, and infrastructure value demonstrations to business stakeholders. The latest release includes asynchronous finding delivery, like more frequent findings updates, enable faster proactive delivery of critical health information, and ensures faster response to emerging issues. And then we also have the public APIs, which are now available for diagnostics findings, enabling customers to integrate health data into their own automation workflows or third-party dashboards. Then we also get a new vSAN Health Insights, which improves overall storage operations. VCF Operations now integrates the vCenter vSAN Health workflow, including detailed alert views and guided remediation steps directly into storage operations screens. So VCF Operations also provides guided remediation workflows for each identified health alert integrated with the diagnostics workflow, enabling users to directly resolve issues from VCF Operations. In 9.1, a new functionality that is proactive performance insights has been introduced. So this feature automatically runs diagnostics for every vSAN clusters every hour using performance metrics collected from the last 60 minutes. So if no issue is detected during a diagnostics run, no action is taken. And if an issue is found, a performance insight of type proactive insight is created. So these insights are automatically deleted once diagnostics detects that there are no further issues. So these insights provide the users with clear identification of the problematic vSAN clusters, plausible root causes for the performance deviation, and step-by-step guidance on how to remediate the identified issues. VMware Kubernetes Service is the native Kubernetes service in VCF for customers to run containerized workloads in a conformant Kubernetes cluster. And one of the major updates in VCF Operations 9.1 is automated monitoring for VKS clusters, aligning with the automated monitoring already in place for supervisor cluster. The manual process of installing Prometheus and Telegraph agents on VKS clusters is now hands-free and requires no extra step. So this is done using the add-on management framework available since the VKS version 3.6 and above. So metrics and dashboard pages have also been improved. So you see a newly designed summary pages and dashboards showing new metrics widgets, making it easy for Kubernetes admins to quickly monitor the health of Kubernetes environments. So here you can see the VKS cluster performance metrics, the HCD metrics, the worker node metrics, and mapping of the namespace to pod to containers. So DSM, that is Data Services Manager, is a standalone application or appliance that is now tightly integrated with VCF 9.1. So it provides a database as a service functionality. So now VCF automation tenants will be able to provision and deploy databases and also view the database metrics like active DB connections, compute users metrics within VCF automation console. As DSM database is provisioned, all the monitoring metrics will be available within VCF operations without any additional configuration needs. So these metrics are available out of the box. So VI admins will be able to monitor the health of DSM databases through inventory and out of the box dashboards. And same applies to Postgres database as well, where VI admins will get to see all database metrics like the active DB connections, compute usage metrics through VCF operations as a default behavior without the need to install any additional management packs or any kind of agent. So these metrics would be available in VCF automation console as well for the tenants. So in 9.1, networking operations establishes a new standard for private cloud stability by combining real-time performance tracking with automated diagnostics and a clear roadmap for modernizing network architecture. So in 9.1, we are transforming network management from reactive troubleshooting to proactive observability. Our new NSX Health Diagnostics framework provides an automated health view of network across your entire fleet, monitoring everything from NSX Manager cluster stability to individual edge data path performance and ESX host connectivity. And to support customers' modernization journey, we have also introduced guided VPC analysis, which evaluates customers' current VDS configurations and provides a data-driven roadmap to adopt VPCs, which significantly improves workload mobility and reducing total cost of ownership. So this is all backed by real-time metrics, giving you second-by-second visibility into API request rates and resource utilization to catch issues before they impact your users. And finally, we have also extended this visibility into modern application layer with VKS workload monitoring, allowing customers to visualize container flows and microservice communication. So together, these capabilities ensure your private cloud network remains resilient, scalable, and ready for the next generation of workloads. And finally, let's look at the product pillar. With VCF 9.1, we are moving from the reactive security to proactive management. The security operations dashboard is designed to give your operations teams a single pane of glass view and A standout feature included on this dashboard is the new support for confidential computing. So confidential computing uses both a hardware and software approach to encrypt data at rest, in storage, and across the network, as well as data in use and in memory. So VCF Operations now automatically profiles your ESX host and identifies which hosts are capable of running confidential VMs and containers. So this removes the guesswork for your architects when they are looking to deploy sensitive workloads on protected hardware. Operators can also view if confidential computing has been enabled on a eligible host. Confidential VMs and containers can also be observed and filtered at the per VM level. So operators can quickly see which VMs are enabled as confidential VMs, the guest OS types, the vCPUs, memory, storage, and vCenter server assignment. Compliance is often the most painful part of an admin's job. So the new security posture management functionality within VCF Operations is designed to allow operators to view and easily remediate non-compliance at scale for large environments. Compliance assessments can be run across your VCF fleet or a subset of inventory components. So VCF Operations includes 3 out-of-the-box benchmarks based upon hundreds of separate rule sets. The VCF 9.x Security Configuration and Hardening Guide and the PCI DSS version 4 are both compliance benchmarks. So VCF General Controls is a VCF specific benchmark. So the process to set up security posture management has been automated, which simplifies getting started. An operator simply enables a benchmark and assigns it to a policy. The default policy or a custom group can be used. And VCF Operations also includes options to clone and modify benchmarks to suit their own business or industry requirements. Compliance assessments are pre-configured to run daily, or they can be run at any time. The results of an assessment can be viewed, searched, or filtered from the dashboard, and issues are listed by severity, like critical, warning, or immediate. Reports can even be exported to PDF or CSV. VCF Operations does more than just compliance reporting. So if a host or cluster is out of compliance, an admin or operator can trigger a remediation to bring non-compliant component back into hardened state instantly, ensuring you're always audit ready. And finally, we are addressing the needle in the haystack problem with forensics. Historically, every VCF component had its own log format, making it impossible to trace an action from vCenter to NSX to the host. So in 9.1, we have standardized over 250 log files into a single structured format. So using audit trail, you can get complete traceability of the supported user actions in the VCF environment so that any suspicious or unauthorized activity can be dealt with a timely manner. So you can now see a new pictorial time sliced view of user activity. So if someone changed a firewall rule or failed a login, you can trace that entire event chain across the stack in seconds. On the audit trail results page, the overview section displays the audit trail summary and audit records distribution, which is based on the provided scoping parameters. The trend chart in the overview section plots success versus failure counts by 15 minutes time slices. So you can see a high-level summary by severity, components, and subjects. You can drill down in the records timeline to expand records details by 15 minutes time slices. You can export them as a CSV file as well. So customers can leverage the audit trail feature for rapid incident investigation, empowering security teams to wear a forensic hat and unearth key security event across components painlessly. So used for faster root cause analysis as it simplifies cross-component problem diagnosis by using standard date-time formats and structured metadata and regulatory data preservation as audit records are designed for long-term retention, meeting strict compliance requirements for historical diagnostics findings. So this should give you a quick overview of all the new capabilities that we are seeing in VCF 9.1 release. So this concludes the demo. Thanks for watching.